Y'all, she been thinking. She's in her car, parked, and she been thinking. Why do I always do these in the car? I guess I do my best thinking in the car. I was just on my way back to work, back to my office, and I was thinking about this idea, continuation from first video I posted about how essentially all of human history was shaped because people, specifically men, like, should have felt their feelings and gone to therapy, even though therapy wasn't a thing back then. But my point being, people who wrote the history books were all people who didn't know how to feel their feelings and were completely disconnected from themselves. I would consider it colonization because obviously I work in the mental health space as a therapist and a trauma worker and a healer. And the amount of people walking around who are completely disconnected from themselves is crazy. Also, why do my eyes look like that? I'm just really tired. I'm not high. I didn't sleep last night. Maybe that's why I was thinking. I don't know. I was talking with a colleague slash mentor yesterday about this idea of shadow work and trauma work and things like that, and the sides of ourselves that we repress and the ways that they come out if we do not honor those. Basically we all have kind of like, you know, these parts that we're not proud of, that we're kind of ashamed of, because we're people and we all have them. But if you don't deal with that, it's gonna come out in other ways. And he was telling me about, you know, indigenous practices where they would essentially dance by the fire and release that. They would release the shadow in the space of community and loving acceptance. And obviously, like, white people like Christopher Columbus saw that shit and was like, oh, those people are crazy. Why are they crazy, man? You're the one like slaughtering people and like giving people diseases. And it was really bothering me on the drive over. We talked about it yesterday, and then I was sitting with that. I was just thinking about it for some reason just now, and it was sitting so heavy on my heart. And this is not some like white woman achieving consciousness of like racism finally. Like, it's not that. It was essentially something finally clicking into place for me of like, wow, like history would look completely different if people were actually connected to themselves and didn't hate themselves. I mean, look at, obviously we can connect that to present day as well, of just like the amount of hatred and judgment and, oh, you're different than me, like, without seeing the common humanity in all of us. And that's, of course, when we get genocides and war and political division and even neighbors turning on each other and people fighting over the last goddamn roll of toilet paper at King Supers. Because why are we doing that? Because, yeah, it takes us back to a very, very survival place. I think there's so much beauty in our ancestors, and I think there's so much healing and knowledge that was lost, that we could really use nowadays. And it's interesting, right? Because like, there's this new wave, obviously, yoga and healing and Chinese medicine and acupuncture. It's like people have been doing that shit for hundreds of thousands of years. People had that. We had it figured out. We had it figured out. And then fucking white people came on in, bulldozed our way through human fucking history, and called it history, and made Jesus a white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed man, or the pharaoh. Isn't there like a photo somewhere of like a textbook with like, it's supposed to be like an Egyptian pharaoh, but he's like blonde? The fuck? I don't know, this idea of just that it's so threatening for people to like connect with their own demons and their own darkness and their own shadows, and instead of doing that, we like point it out in other people. It's things that are like, I'm different than you, when really the truth is that that's actually a part of me, and that's a part of you, and that's a part of all of us. This might be long. I don't know. We'll see. So essentially just maybe a reminder, if you take away anything from this lack of sleep rant I'm doing, please recognize that like anything that you might find distasteful or upsetting about yourself, we all feel that too, and it's not an excuse to hurt other people or demonize other people for it. We're all just doing our fucking best out here. So yeah, maybe look at that instead of shying away from that, you know? Okay, one more thing. And one more thing. I took my hair down because I thought I looked ugly. And I put eye drops in because that looked crazy. See? All better. The whole point of this is that if you're able to offer kindness and compassion to yourself, you will be able to offer it to other people much easier. If you're able to even acknowledge like, I can be angry too, or I have darkness in me too, you will be a lot more forgiving and understanding of that in other people when they fuck up or drop the ball or just have a bad day. That's all. Maybe I'll take my own advice. Something therapists are not very good at historically. Of, yeah, being a little patient and kind with myself. Be nice, don't be a dick. Bye.